So, June 12th marked the anniversary of the 2016 massacre at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. Tragically, not a lot has changed since then, and in many places, including the state in which this atrocity occurred, things have become unbelievably and undeniably worse. I posted this piece, originally written the day after the massacre, on my website in commemoration and in solidarity with the LGBTQ2IA+ community. Since then, it's been requested that I read it for you, so here we go. Orlando. My first thought when I heard about Orlando was, fuck. I cannot believe this is still where we are. 30 years ago, my best friends were two gay guys named Ken and a fag hag named Trish. In my day, that's what you called a straight woman who was obsessed with gays and gay culture. Ken and Ken were not a couple, but they trolled together along with all the other butches and queens looking for love and acceptance. And I guess I tagged along because I was an outcast in my own special way. And these two guys knew how to have a really good time. I remember the gay bar. An unmarked door in an unmarked alley that only those in the know were meant to find. A special knock and password would get you in the front room where a big, burly butch or bear would sell you illegal drink tickets if he or she knew who you were, and would grill you thoroughly if they didn't. I remember the club room. Not much bigger than 30 by 30 and holding 15 to 20 people at max. I remember the bare, yellow-white walls, the Kmart Christmas lights strung from the ceiling with rusted thumbtacks, a lonesome disco ball spinning in the center of the room, a strobe light on a cardboard pedestal in the corner, and some queer DJ wannabe with a record player hooked up to a crummy pair of speakers trying desperately to transition from Boy George to Divine without interrupting the beat. I remember the awkwardness. I remember the posturing. I remember the downcast eyes and hopeful hearts, the lusty, overstated grinding on the dance floor as desperate to be lovers strained to see and be seen. It was the saddest, loneliest, most pathetic place I'd ever been. And it was beautiful. In that way that a lone sunflower growing up through a crack in the asphalt freeway is beautiful. In that way that only something that has been shamed and reviled and beaten down but insists on surviving in spite of it is beautiful. In that way that something broken and mended and broken and mended again is beautiful. It was so strong. And I lost count of how many times we stumbled out of that bar drunk and laughing to be set upon in the street by fists and feet that battered and bruised our blood so much brighter than any future we could see. I lost count of the screams and the pleading. I lost count of the tears and the bleeding. And we learned quickly not to bother calling the police. They only ever showed up too late anyway, or just as often joined in the fun. And I remember that Ken used to cut my mother's hair. She called him her little gay hairdresser, around her friends. And I guess something about that made her feel special. And I remember asking her one day what she would do if it turned out I was gay, and she said, "You can't be gay. I couldn't love you being gay. It's different when it's your own kids." I remember Ken's broken heels and torn up dress and mascara black tears when I held him in the street after another beating not long after he tried to commit suicide for the first time. And I remember Ken and Trish trying desperately to look like a couple, to save themselves from their families, to save themselves from destruction, to save themselves from each other, to save themselves from themselves. I remember when Ava died on pills, and Eddie slit his wrists. And Alex turned Alexis, strung, swinging at the neck, and the swan dives, and the sirens, and the sound of my heart breaking again and again, every time the phone rang at 3 a.m., and I knew. I remember beaten, tortured, stabbed, shot, burned, strangled, drowned in a toilet, left to die. And I remember the constant refrain. Because she was gay. Because he was gay. Because they were gay. Like being gay was the problem. Like being gay was to blame. And I remember thinking, fuck, I cannot believe this is where we are. These people are not dying because they are gay. These people are not dying because they are gay. These people are not fucking dying because they're fucking gay. These people are dying because religion is still preaching hate. These people are dying because schools are still banning books. These people are dying because politicians are still passing laws that renounce their lives and loves. These people are dying because dumb shits with heavy fists armed with guns and knives and ignorance and righteousness and rage still believe it is okay to fucking murder someone who loves someone they don't approve of. These people are dying because when I stand vigil for 49 lives and I wrap loving arms around a friend who is breaking, my wife is questioned at work the next day about how her husband was seen holding another man. 49 lives. 49 daughters and sons, 49 inventors and dreamers and world changers, 49 mothers and fathers and lovers and friends, 49 pulsing, beating, shining hearts, snuffed out while dancing. Fuck. I cannot believe this is still where we are.